whenever you have either illegal voting or people who are kind of utilizing the system to their benefit, and they're not doing it appropriately. So there are some disenfranchised voters who say that they are outraged after their signatures were forged. There was this undercover investigation James O'Keefe did, where apparently on Skid Row, there's a cash for ballots type of thing going on, where they're paying homeless people $2 to $3 per form to sign ballot petitions using the names and addresses of real registered voters and then forging their signatures. So you're a homeless person out there on Skid Row. God only knows why you're out there. We know the homeless situation there is a big problem out there in California. Somebody comes up to you, Alex, and they say, hey, I'm going to give you $3. All you've got to do is write this name, write this address, and then sign our petition we have here, and no one will be the wiser. Well, apparently, this is going on to quite a degree. And look, I can tell you, there's a lot of shady stuff that goes on when it comes to, voting, and everything is different in every state. As the former RNC co-chair, we saw a lot of things. We tried to fix a lot of things. But this in particular, this is about, signing a ballot petition. That is still a big deal, Alex, because these things have big consequences and ultimately, go to impact entire communities, states. That, this is a big deal.
Yeah, and also we're told that voter fraud isn't real. It's not really a big deal. We really shouldn't focus on it. We're talking about literally $2 per signature, sometimes $10 per signature. People trading signatures for cigarettes, people trading signatures for pot. I mean, these are it just shows you how we need to really rein in our election system if we have any belief in ourselves, if we have any self-respect. And this is the era that we're in that's becoming increasingly concerning to me, is that we're treating ourselves like we don't have self-respect. And we can tie in a lot of our conversation to this. I think even the fat positive movement is about this as well. It's the end of self-respect. And any country who treats itself like this is acceptable for the most sacred of all of our rights, which is our right to vote, we purport to be a democracy, or a constitutional republic, whatever is your preferred nomenclature, then you can't have this stuff going on at all. Even one example is too much. And there's a complete lack of interest in this from anyone other than really conservative journalists.
And the thing, too, Link, whenever you watch this full series that James O'Keefe has, you watch this video, and essentially what he does is he goes undercover there on Skid Row, where he has somebody undercover, and he gets the names and the addresses that they're using, that they're forging signatures for on these ballot petitions. And then he actually goes to the address and he asks these people about it. And the crazy part to me, and we know that this happens, is he goes to a couple of houses and they're like, oh yeah, I still get that lady's ballot in the mail. I've lived in this house for 9 years, but I still have been getting her ballot. This is the crap we know happens, to Alex's point. We know it's real. We know it happens. And God, it is so frustrating because this is how you cheat in elections. This is how voter fraud happens.
Well, we're supposed to be the most prosperous nation on earth. We should have a voting system that works. We should be able to get it done in one day. There are some of these states, I remember in the last election, it was 10 days, 14 days. They were dragging their heels to certify things.
Yeah, after the election.
Absolutely, and this should not happen in the United States of America. I think it's the president who uses this example and some other people as well. You go to Las Vegas, you play some games, you want to play the slots. I love Wheel of Fortune. They are not off by 1 cent in Las Vegas, okay? And billions of dollars exchange hands every single day across all of these casinos. They're not off by 1 cent, right? So tell us how we can get the machines working right in the United States of America. If we don't have elections with integrity, what do we have as a country? You have to just do it too big to rig, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's important stuff. I mean, this is one of the reasons the president is so big on the Save America Act. You have to know who is voting. You have to have some form of voter ID. It is not racist. I've obviously we've heard that said from the Democrats constantly. You just had Stephen A. Smith come out the other day saying, listen, enough is enough. It's not racist to have an ID. This is basic in the United States of America. But there's a reason, Alex, the Democrats have been so staunchly against it. And you have to look at things like this. You have to look in Democrat-run cities and states. And, I mean, look, there's a reason the border was wide open. There's a reason millions and millions of people came in here. There's a reason that they want to count these people who are illegally in our country in the U.S. Census. It's all part of this bigger game, I think, to just rig the system in perpetuity.
Yeah, of course. And this is where it's so racist and so insulting to women. But we've always known this. But just remember that this reveals what the Democrats' first principle is. Their first principle is not integrity. It's not honor. It's not trying to serve country or God or anything like that. Their first principle is winning. They're trying to win by any means necessary.
Yeah.
That's their goal. And they know that if there is no voter IDs, they'll have an easier time cheating. They'll have an easier time contesting certain ballots they don't like and have a easier time padding the stuff in ballot boxes where they can. That's why out in California, where we've got Democrat supermajorities, they count votes for 2 weeks. Why do they count it for 2 weeks in California and they count it for like 20 minutes in Florida? But so they could cheat more. Of course, that's what it is. And they just normalize all this stuff so that we get accustomed to it and we accept it and then we forget about it. And that's why we need to keep having this conversation until we have basically voting on one day with a voter ID, and then we'll have integrity.
I can't wait for that day. That'll be a nice day to come. And, I look back to, and obviously 2020 is still, I would love a full-throated investigation into the election of 2020. No person, if they're being honest with themselves, actually believes that that was a legitimate election, actually believes that that was a fraud-free election, that there was everything on the up and up there. We all know it was egregious at best. However, Link, I look at the way that God has positioned things, and I believe that things happen in his time, not in our time. And I think if you look at the fact that Donald Trump could have had 2 consecutive terms in office, that would have been great. I think it's so much better now that he had the break in between. So maybe in some respects we have to say thank you to these people who've been cheating in the elections. If for nothing else, then bringing it to the surface. They went so far out of bounds in 2020 that everybody saw with their own eyes, like something is really, really wrong here. We started talking about it more. To Alex's point, we have to continue doing that. We have to continue trying to fix this broken system. But maybe the silver lining of all of it is that Donald Trump got to be our 47th president. Donald Trump gets to be president during the Olympics. Donald Trump gets to be president during the World Cup. Donald Trump gets to be president during America's 250th birthday. I can't think of a better thing than that. And by the way, I believe he's been so much more successful now than he ever would have been with 8 consecutive years.
Well, this administration is so stellar, from Susie Wiles all the way down to the entire cabinet. I mean, look at Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. So I feel like those 4 years under Joe Biden, if you want to say everything happens for a reason, I think 2021 to January of 2025 showed the American people what the Democrats think of you. Because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, what did they do when they got in there? Executive orders to open the border. Young women like Laken Riley, Jocelyn Nungari were brutalized and murdered because of their open border policies, right? We saw sky-high inflation. You saw an increase of the surveillance state. All of these things under the Biden administration, and it actually pushed so many people away from the Democrat Party that by the time this election came around, President Trump was able to win the popular vote, the House, the Senate, every single swing state. I mean, it was unprecedented. So I think those 4 years maybe happened for a reason. And I even look back at little things like the topless trans people on the White House lawn, the cocaine at the White House. It's like there are these little things that really eroded and denigrated what it means to be president and to honor the White House. And I think the Bidens just turned it into such a cesspool and such a gross place. And I think a lot of Americans woke up over the course of those 4 years.
Yeah, you had to. If you didn't see it then, I don't know what'll do it for you. Just because I like to end on something nice and positive.
Okay.
Wait a minute, hold on. It was positive when Link brought up that guy's big rack. Like, that was positive. Like, I've never seen a guy with such a big set. Never mind.
If my mom's Bible study is watching, I apologize, ladies, okay? I apologize for Alex.
It really was so crazy. Every time something like that would happen, we'd be like, really? Really? And then wild. I think one of my favorites was watching when, I forget what they were celebrating, but there was some celebration at the White House, and Joe Biden looked like, he looked like a corpse just standing up there. And remember, everybody's dancing around him. Do you remember what I'm talking about, guys?
Yes.
And I was like, if people, there's no way. That's the moment I knew. I said, there's no way they're going to put this guy back up to run for president. There's no way they can run Joe Biden. I saw that video, and that was it for me. Sure enough, turns out we were right.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.